Everyone for being here. Good morning once again. This is the Vivid Life Home Care Cooperative Spring Funder and Partner Briefing. My name is Shanice Alexander. I am the co-founder and managing partner of Venture with Purpose, which is a boutique consulting firm that has had the privilege of working with Vivid Life since about 2023. And so today, what we wanted to do is have you hear directly from the Vivid Life design team, some of the design team members on the key milestones that have been achieved and some strategic priorities driving long-term growth and sustainability of home care in the state of California. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand over to the founder of Vivid Life Home Care, Aquilina Soriano Versosa.
Right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome and thanks for joining us today. As Shanice said, I'm Aquilina Soriano Versosa, but everyone calls me Aki. And I'm also one of the founders and executive director of the Filipino Worker Center of Southern California. So today we're here to really share the story of Vivid Life Home Care Cooperative, our worker-owned home care cooperative agency that developed as a key strategy for transforming the long-term care industry for both workers and everyone who will or may be supported by long-term care, which really is all of us, right? And we will share updates on our milestones so far since our soft launch last August 2025 and our grand public launch that we had in March this year when we did at the Japanese American Museum in LA, California. Um, and we'll go into more detail. But partly who you're going to hear from today are representatives of um, talented partners that we brought together to bring Vivid Life into reality. Definitely, we knew PwC, we didn't have all the expertise we needed, and that we really needed to, build a really amazing team to have it happen. And it's been so amazing over these last couple of years designing and then finally launching and now operating Vivid Life. So today there's a few of them co-presenting with me, and they'll introduce themselves now. Vanessa, let's go to you first.
Great. Thanks, Aki. Hi, good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to see all your faces and to be here today with you. I'm Vanessa Brandsburg, and I'm the co-executive director of the Democracy at Work Institute, or we also call it DOWI for short. And so DOWI is the national field building organization that's focused on building the field of worker ownership, in particular with recent immigrants, low-wage workforces, and with communities of color. And so we are really, really proud to be a partner in this project and also a part of the executive team. And I will pass it over to Lynn.
Thanks, Vanessa. Good morning and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lindy McCauley. I'm the Director of Operations and Business Development of Vivid Life Home Care. Welcome and thanks for being here. So I'll turn it over to one of our caregiver owners, and her name is Blanca.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Blanca Rivas, and I completed the academy last year, and I am a caregiver owner with Vivid Life at the Pande Local Cooperative.
Wonderful. Thank you, Blanca. And thank you, everyone. So today we'll have a program of about 20 minutes so that we'll leave plenty of time for discussion. First, we'll thoroughly introduce you to Vivid Life Home Care Cooperatives, which were officially founded in 2025. And then we'll talk about lessons of this past year of operations, the impacts that we are having now, our plans to scale this year and the next few years, as well as reaching profitability in the near term. So, as we prepare to share the great work that has taken place the last several years, I want to thank our current funders first who have made this possible. And some of them are with us today. So the Beister Foundation for Enterprise Development, the James Irvine Foundation, Blue Shield Foundation of California, the California Wellness Foundation, the Meta Fund, the James and Gretchen Sandler Philanthropic Fund, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, California Endowment, and UniHealth Foundation, as well as Kaiser Foundation, Northern California. Okay, now I'm going to pass it to Lynn.
Thanks, Aki. I want to also take a moment to recognize our trusted partners and organizations that have helped link us to clients and folks with other resources, including connecting their mission to Vivid Life's mission. I want to thank our current partners of the Alzheimer's Association of Los Angeles, the Foundations for Senior Care, Pasadena Senior Center, LA Care, and the YWCA of San Gabriel Valley. As I said, my name is Lindy McCauley, and I have the honor of working every day to bring Vivid Life to work with our talented operations coordinators and caregiver owners to provide quality care to our clients, ensure operational efficiency and best practices are followed, and build this cooperative business. So what's Vivid Life? Vivid Life Home Care is a caregiver-owned cooperative built on one simple belief that when caregivers are empowered and invested in their future, families get better care. Our mission is rooted in the needs of caregivers and California families. The needs of California families are growing each year, and truly our state is at a crossroads. By 2030, a quarter of Californians will be older adults. At the same time, the state will have a shortfall of up to 3.2 million home caregivers, largely because working conditions discourage new people from choosing this path. So there's an urgent need to fill this gap, and Vivid Life is ready to meet the moment in California. Vivid Life meets this moment for California by transforming the home care industry so that it elevates well-being of seniors, people with disabilities, and the workers who provide them care. We call this our twofold mission. The first part of our mission centers our clients. In pursuit of this mission, we incorporate the wisdom of traditional communities where elders are loved and respected, while also employing the modern best practices and training that help seniors live their best lives. The second part of our mission centers our caregiver owners. With them, we're building a caregiver-owned business model in which caregivers own their companies, and then they earn a livable wage and benefits. The co-ownership of being a caregiver owner cooperative creates accountability and stability, which allows families to benefit from consistent caregivers who build trust over time. As a company, Vivid Life currently provides a range of services to our clients. Generally speaking, we're talking about helping seniors and increasingly adults with disabilities with activities of daily living. We approach this work with a holistic care philosophy. We care for the whole person and focus on wellness, independence, joy, and purpose. We serve clients who need 24/7 care. We provide respite care for family members who are exhausted and schedules that are in between. Working with clients and their families, we craft care plans that consider physical and emotional well-being. They provide nutrition opportunities for cognitive engagement, learning, and social activities. In addition, Vivid Life caregivers receive advanced education in dementia care, end-of-life support, and other complex areas so families can feel confident in the care that they receive. So now I'd like to turn it over to our caregiver member owner, Blanca Rivas, and she's one of our caregiver owners who will share a few words about her experience. Blanca?
Okay, thank you very much. And I'm so happy to be here, everyone. As I said before, I am a part of a caregiver owner with BB Life, and I've been a caregiver for more than 7 years. And before joining this program, I was working long hours and being paid less than the minimum wage, and being excluded from basic benefits. And many times, I have to confess, I used to cry in the night because I felt overwhelmed. I felt frustrated because even though I was out, not being with my daughters, still I didn't have enough money to complete all my expenses. And even my husband said, you should look for another job because this job is not paying you what you are doing. You're doing too much for these people. And I was praying to God for an opportunity, and suddenly I found BB Life Home Care. Since that day, joining this program has been a turning point in a blessing to my life. because being a member has given me the opportunity of making visible the valuable work that all the caregivers do. And also, it's given me the opportunity to have a voice and in care decisions in a democratic way, to make profits of our own business, and to have health insurance and dental care, and to have paid vacations, to share with my family, and prioritize the well-being of us as a members. And also, if we are, like Lynn said before, she said that if you take care of the member owners, we are going to take care of the clients because we are well prepared. Because the PwC Academy, they prepare us and they teach us like dementia care, all these things to take care of these clients as they should be. And we also are take care, because now I feel different. I feel empowered. I feel like if I have an identity. I feel like this is a big and real good program for everyone, for my community, and for the people that we're going to go and take care. So that's for that, guys. I really appreciate and I thank you for what you're doing for me and for my community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blanca. Um, so, I mean, this is totally why we do this project, right? Is about like how we're transforming lives of both workers and community members. And that's how it started too, with Filipino Workers Center. We first really started looking at how we could address working conditions, and we fought and we won, wages, back wages, but we soon realized that even after caregivers were able to recover stolen wages, it was difficult for them to find jobs with better conditions or with good conditions. And so for PwC members, poor working conditions were just like the norm. And we also uh, saw that, you know, the devaluing of then the home care and how they're paid also then like really impacted the workers themselves and the value that they saw in themselves. So and care is an essential infrastructure that makes it possible for our communities to function. But as we know, it's often unseen and taken for granted because we as a society have relied on the work being done as unpaid or low paid labor, specifically of women, right? Not valued with a wage. Um, and together, PwC leaders work together to found Courage Home Care Cooperative. So we started that back in 2015. Courage, since then, had been providing quality care, paying fair wages, and collectively running their own, cooperative, collectively run workplace where they also were able to share in the success that they were having, of like sharing profits at the end of the year as well, making decisions about reinvesting and sharing profits. So under this new model, though, because Courage still was small, so could only do so much. Like we didn't have the ability to have health insurance, for example, health benefits. But under this new model, the caregivers are also the business owners. They have a stake in the success of the business as well. They share in the profits. They benefit from training and support as we've built out like a much more robust workforce development training with on-the-job training and great training partners. And they collectively govern the co-op. So Courage Home Care quickly caught on, and soon it became its own licensed entity separate from PwC. Um, But again, it was still small. It was a standalone cooperative that faced a lot of challenges for long-term sustainability. And Courage still needed the ongoing support of PwC to be viable in its current form then. So we needed a way to scale the model we created. How can we scale the good jobs that we started to create? And for long-term success and scaling more jobs, good jobs in the industry, that's when, I called on a lot of our trusted partners to strengthen, design, and build the Vivid Life mission. Um, so that's when I began um, co-creating what has become Vivid Life. So I'm going to actually pass it on to Vanessa to talk more about how we came together.
Great. Thank you, Aki. Yeah, so at that point that Aki just mentioned, the Democracy at Work Institute really was able to have the privilege of being one out of a few trusted partners that were called to support and co-create Vivid Life. So starting in 2023, Aki brought together 5 organizations who had been pivotal in Courage's successful transition to viability to found Vivid Life Home Care. And so together, these founding members that you see here in this picture actually have built a new cooperative model for home caregivers across California. And then in 23 and 24 is really when we started to dig deep to design the architecture of Vivid Life. Everything from the brand to the standard operating procedures to the website design to legal documents and much more. And so the goal at this point was really to keep in mind the fact that we wanted to have a scalable, replicable, and inclusive model for all workers of all statuses. And so then that led up to 2025 last year, which was when we formally launched. And we were able to host a cooperative academy that brought forward 3 new cooperatives in Southern California and transitioning Courage to the Vivid Life Network. And so the partners that I was just mentioning include the National Domestic Workers Alliance, the California Domestic Workers Coalition, the ICA group, Katrina's representing here today, who specializes in cooperative businesses, including a niche in home care, in particular, home care cooperatives. And then we also have been supported by the project management firm Ventures with Purpose that Shanice is representing, as well as evaluators like Standard Deviation Consulting. You can see here in this image that the cooperatives are at the center with a photo of each of them. And so all of these support systems are surrounding them. You can also see that community organizations that we've partnered with, that we call community-based incubators or CBIs, are aligned with each cooperative that's formed. The organizations are all members of the California Domestic Workers Coalition and have been really incredible incubators of these co-ops, really holding them and helping them identify people, doing recruitment to then become worker owners. And then in the outer circle, you can see that the contractors that we've brought on are really important as well because they have provided quality professional services that the co-ops really need to make their work more sophisticated and possible. So for example, we've had things like attorneys, to marketing and branding services, to accounting help, and technology support. And so the next graphic that we'll see here is similar to the one that we were looking at, except that it helps to really demonstrate the relationship between Vivid Life headquarters that we, as we call it right now, the HQ, and so how it relates with the other circles or the local cooperatives. The headquarters is also a secondary cooperative, and so the members are the local co-ops themselves. The local co-ops you can see in this image, really are prioritizing the care to their clients. And as businesses owned by the workers, they collectively, support the growth of the larger Vivid Life network by making strategic decisions that they use through democratic management and governance processes. And so the HQ, which I just mentioned, is a secondary co-op, really is there to provide professional services that support the local co-ops do what they need to do, which is connect to clients. And so really the HQ, what I want to emphasize is that the HQ is what makes the model scalable, right? Each co-op can really focus on its own work, while the HQ can really look across the landscape in California and to be able to sort of provide what one co-op can't do on their own. So now I'm going to pass it over to Lynn to continue to talk about the lessons that we've learned along the way.
And just a quick shout out to Chirla, who is also here on the call, one of the community-based worker organizations supporting the Palmdale Cooperative.
Welcome, Chirla. Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks, Aki. So early impacts and insights. So since our kickoff in June of 2025, 52 caregiver owners have completed the 10-week Cooperative Academy. Of those surveyed, 98% of the Academy participants found the Academy training helpful or very helpful. We have 4 Vivid Life local co-ops in operation, and then 15 caregivers are continuing to what we call the advanced training courses. Since September of 2025, we provided over 23,000 hours of care in the first 8 months of our inception. That's 45 caregiver owners serving 32 clients. In addition, we have grown and averaged a 45% month-over-month increase in client census since September of 2025. And given the immense needs in our quality care, we're confident that that trend will continue. We've raised caregiver wages to $25 per hour base rate, and we also ensure that all hours worked are all tracked, fully tracked, and properly compensated, including overtime, time and a half, and when it's applicable. And caregivers who support clients with higher needs or longer shifts have the opportunities to earn additional overtime pay and additional wages. So it's also important to note that in addition to the living wage, caregivers also are eligible for health, dental, and vision benefits, as well as paid time off, just as Blanca mentioned to you all. That's nearly unheard of in an industry that can be extractive. So we've had great signs of early success. We have also learned a lot, lessons and insights we're using to make adjustments to our model and how we execute it. So this year, we plan to launch 2 new cooperatives in the San Francisco Bay Area and transition 1 existing home care cooperative to the Vivid Life brand. So what's going to be different? I'll have Vanessa share a little bit about how we're incorporating lessons from year 1. Vanessa.
Yes, thank you. So one of the things that we've really learned is about our educational system that we have. We have an academy, right? And so we know that we want to have less classroom style training, and we want to be more in favor of on-demand, on-the-job learning so that the members can really apply what they're learning sooner than later. We realized that while the academy has been great, and as you saw, people are really getting a lot out of it and have enjoyed it, it does require real-time learning over 10 weeks, the way that it's shaped at this moment. And so as the co-op scale and we add more caregivers, we can't really move at the pace that we need to with that kind of infrastructure. And so what we've needed to do is pivot and really allow for more asynchronous learning. So we're going to be using a learning management system combined with strategic in-person activities that happen in member meetings and other engagements, where again the members can sort of take the concepts that they've been learning and apply them by practicing them. And we're also learning that client growth takes time. The number of founding members should be scaled down, we're thinking, to really match the rate of growth that we are experiencing realistically, right, in the marketplace. And so this year, the co-ops that we've been incubated have started with 12 to 15 members, and we've decided to scale that down to start with 5 members as founding members of the new cooperatives that we're going to be launching. And so we think that this will get all owners working sooner and that they can really practice the co-op skills that they are learning more quickly, in particular governance and sort of how to engage as owners. And like any of us, if we aren't using, right, like what we learn and applying it in real life, the information can become stale. So it's going to be really critical to keep it really live. And so with pairing this with our opportunity network, which Lynn is going to talk about in a moment, we're going to be able to scale the cooperative membership over time as the co-ops have more and more clients. So Lynn, if you can talk a little bit with us about the opportunity network.
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. So there's so many factors that go into matching clients with caregivers. And in a big metro area like Los Angeles, the leads we receive may not be proximate to where our caregiver owners live, or it might not be enough hours for folks to put aside other work as they need income to serve the client. So we've developed a larger bench, what we call it, of caregivers who can step in to serve clients. So we call this our opportunity network or our registry. Our network of community-based organizations have connections to workers, and we've had a successful source of caregiver owners coming from our community-based organizations as well. So we build out the opportunity network structure so that we can always be recruiting workers into the network. Ongoing recruitment is a very standard need in the home care industry, and we have an array of specialists in our network. The Vivid Life network of specialists includes marketing, it includes legal advising, accounting and tax strategy, website management, and IT. Plus design team skills of trainers, co-developers, and home care operations specialists as well. So having skilled folks suited for this industry and model means that we can scale with confidence. So I'm going to turn it back to Vanessa for our last two lessons.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so for our last two lessons, one of them is that we are constantly balancing local leadership development with centralized support. And so we are trying to ensure that the centralization of supports really encourages the cooperatives to have their own autonomy, but to really benefit from the collective benefits that are coming from the HQ. And so the design team continues to assess that balance of localized leadership and centralized operations. So for example, we're really looking at the decision-making chart and sort of how we engage between the HQ and the local co-ops. The team really does continue to reflect on what roles are needed to meet the gaps so that we can be successful. For example, like sales. And so we continue to uncover ways to leverage the operations coordinator's role in particular to really maximize the benefits of the businesses across the network. And so sharing the skills as a team has been really key to success for operations in particular. And then finally, the very last lesson to sort of highlight is that we know marketing works. It has worked. That referrals are the number one source of clients in the home care industry. And so we have found that to be true also for Vivid Life. And so developing partnership with trusted partners like we have here, sources like the UCLA Alzheimer's Dementia Clinic, has really led to steady referrals for the business. And that Vivid Life's digital presence is also yielding interest in client inquiries. And our digital strategy was developed, by Migration Marketing, our branding and marketing firm, which was extremely helpful to get their guidance from the very beginning. And it's really leading to client inquiries each week we're seeing, which is really wonderful. So now I will pass it back to Lynn. Thank you.
Thanks again, Vanessa. So I'll share a few of our goals for this year. We will launch 2 new cooperatives in the East Bay and Southern Alameda County and Santa Clara County. We'll also transition an existing San Francisco co-op to the Vivid Life brand and network. And as noted, we'll have a revamped academy approach that will kick off in August. And this will feature our online learning management system, as Vanessa mentioned. And then we'll grow our client acquisition and strengthen operations in the LA area, including leveraging out new opportunity network members to grow our caregiver bench. So I noted we have advanced training underway that includes launching advanced dementia training to serve more complex clients, including end-of-life support and hospice care. And we'll utilize curriculum designed with UCLA and the Alzheimer's Association for this training, which is a really great partnership. So I'm going to turn it back over to Aki, who will share the resources that we'll need to continue to work. Thank you.
Yes. So one is that, the investments, especially from philanthropy, has made it possible for us to, build Vivid Life to this point, and we've successfully raised a little over 2 million. And for both the Bay Area expansion and sustaining the Southern California co-ops that have already been established. And so that's 70% of our goal. We're also raising an additional 982,000 to support the Co-op Academy in the Bay Area startup costs, marketing for the new cooperatives, and operational continuity and operational enhancements that support the statewide network. And because what we found is actually at this time period, we thought is actually the time that we really need all of our partners to be hands-on, because it is actually seeing the operations and what needs to be improved, where there might be a gap, where we're actually learning and iterating the model so that we can scale all of the good practices and the improvement. And this is how we're actually building a successful business together. As we see what really works and what needs to grow and improve. So we are, let's see. And so 2027, we are also pursuing an additional 2 million for 2027. And 2027 will focus on firming up the network of 7 cooperatives. So the 4 Southern California and 3 Bay Area local cooperatives, as well as ensuring each co-op reaches profitability, which also means sustainability. Exploring new lines of business such as care navigation to integrate into the model, which both creates career pathways as well as a funding source that has a higher margin, plus partnering with residential care facilities for training and placement, deepening work with developmentally disabled clients, and finding other partners in this. We're working really closely also with the Caring Workforce Program, designing and what kind of workforce development training is needed, because they don't get it just through the academy. A lot of folks are going through the Caring Workforce Program, which is intensive classroom as well as on-the-job training through the cooperative. And we're building out also the workforce development trainings in the Bay Area. So we would love to partner with you, or if you can make warm introductions to other donors and partners in your network. You can also help by introducing Vivid Life to your network, for families and individuals' care needs. This could be your friends and loved ones, as well as community institutions that you're a part of, and everything from your faith center to your gym, your block club, to your work colleagues, your union members, as someone who is looking for care, and we'd love to serve them. And finally, you can spread the word by posting about Vivid Life on your social media, in your newsletter, or other means of spreading the word. We're building up our reviews online. That really helps us as we get larger partners, also like assisted living facilities or memory care partners. And with that, I want to close this part of the presentation and open it up so we can have more of a discussion for questions, as well as perhaps share what resonates with you, or if you have other areas of curiosity. Is there anyone that has questions or comments? You can raise your hand or just come off mute also.
Go ahead, Blanca.
Okay, for me, I am so excited, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing, because I see every time that we go to the meeting, we just feel different when we enter to the program. And I'm so excited, because I know this is what we as a community we need, because we work hard, but we don't have our own business. Now we have it, and that's why I'm so thankful, guy. I know you're doing a great job because I already went to a hospice place to cover someone, but I felt totally different. I felt like, oh, I'm here representing Vivi Life Cooperative. And believe me, I have a new identity. I'm not just like the caregiver, I am the caregiver owner. And this makes me like being like more empowered and thankful. So that's why I just wanted to add that you are really making good things and you are changing the life of the community and the clients. Because if the caregivers are well trained and the holistic uh, environment is like as we created, the clients are going to be well cared. Believe me, it is. Thank you so much for this opportunity to everyone that is making possible the program Vivi Life Home Care Cooperative.
Yeah, thank you, Blanca. I mean, now that we've been operating since last August, we actually just went through a process where like with the support of an amazing evaluation team that has been support uh, Irvine Foundation was able to help to support us to have a really amazing valuation team. We've done a process now of surveys and focus groups with all of the member owners to get their experience so far of how it's operated. And, different folks have had different experiences, like folks transitioning from Courage to be Vivid Life had a different experience than uh, uh, the Palmdale Cooperative, which was starting fresh with members largely from Cheerlab. But getting like kind of what their collective experience has been so that we can see the operations, how it's functioning, as well as getting even more data about what work folks are want and are needing. So getting more information about what is the overall like economic need that people are meeting, and seeing how we can meet that, whether they're looking for, like working as much as they can, kind of like long hours, or do they need flexibility because they have kids that they got to pick up, or like, and really understanding then who, as we do marketing, and Lynn, has just been doing an amazing job starting to really build the reputation and getting it and build partners in the market. But like, how do we focus then our marketing in a way that actually matches with the workers and that we have as worker owners? And so that's been really valuable information. We're even going into a retreat tomorrow where we're really um, going through more thoroughly all of that data, and seeing how that actually transforms our model as well, so that we can grow. Yes, from Chrissy. Let's see. Chrissy said, I have loved the way you all have thoughtfully iterated throughout implementation to ensure that needs and gaps are addressed. Yeah. And definitely what we've seen is like in Palmdale, some of the issue is around transportation, right? It's not like a city center also like LA, not like a metro like LA, right? And so the market is a little bit different geography. So transportation has been an issue. And so we've been troubleshooting how to actually address that issue, and also how to identify then maybe other closer partners. And that's why like looking more into the hospice that can provide, the wages and compensation, and to build out clientele that is closer um, to to the workers. So it works, especially with gas prices the way they are now, right? Um, so let's see. And just also just to say, We were calling the Opportunity Network a registry before, but it's actually, so we've built it out as the Opportunity Network. And the purpose is like, even though we've shrank the number of member owners that are starting, right? It's actually growing the number of worker owners that are engaged, because the Opportunity Network is not just a list, but it's actually where we're creating another level of community of Vivid Life, where there's training, updates, and engagement, and ability then for them to be already trained and ready to step into the jobs. So that way they become member owners as they get clients, so that we don't have a lot of member owners that haven't yet matched, right, with clients. It actually is just a better process to come into the cooperative. Alicia, yes, you have a question?
Yes. So I'm turn my camera on, sorry. Yeah, thank you for sharing. I know Blanca shared that she's been a caregiver for many years, even before being part of Vivid Life. Are most of the member owners already caregivers before, or do any of them start with this program?
Yes, well, so currently, a majority of them have been caregivers before, although now that we have the workforce development training program that also gives basics, we have people who are either, we do have domestic workers who have done other types of domestic work, but haven't done necessarily caregiving for elders or people with disabilities. So coming into it from a different part of the domestic worker industry, or who have never done it before. So we actually have um like before it skewed much older who was actually coming in, but now with because of the workforce development program, we have like more of a diversity of age ranges, and some people who are new into the industry coming in because they see the connection to good jobs. Like they wouldn't have gone into caregiving if, or to the training if they didn't see the possibility of like working at Vivid Life and being able to have a good job. So yeah, so we actually have more, and we're redesigning a little bit the workforce development, which will our year in training year starts in July. And the next one will have like a really focused program for caregivers that don't have any experience. That will be a combination of both the classroom training, which will be learn and earn also, as well as paid on the job training, where they'll get hands-on training. We're really thinking of partnering with board and care facilities, where they can get hands-on training but not be alone at that time. So in a space uh, that they can train. It'll be caring for multiple people, and it will give them experience to be able to provide care in multiple settings as well. But that will hands-on training will really help them to be able to then go out in the field independently. A lot of times people are just thrown out there, like trying to, match, get a caregiver there. But, we've been really intentionally building out the training program to have people prepared and to be able to bring in new people into the field, because we need more caregivers.
I wanted to lift up, if I could, both with Chrissy and Rachel, dropped into the chat around this being responsibly and equitably scaling and how important that is. And I'm also thinking about the opportunities to dive more into the partnerships and collaboration with the workforce development field in general. Because as Aki's just shared, this is actually creating pathways to sustainable, right, employment. That's not just a job, right? It's not just putting someone in a job and checking a box and saying that, oh, we did what we wanted to do, which, if you've done this work, that's not actually what impacts people's lives the most, right? They need sustainability. And so I think the model, and having more conversations within workforce development as opportunities to look at co-ops, opportunities to look at entrepreneurship. That is really exciting to me, to be able to build those collaborations across the sector and the systems, so that folks are actually maintaining sustainable and retaining sustainable employment, as well as like a pathway to a long-term career. So I think that being very intentional around how we scale, being able to stay iterative to the process and responsive to the needs of people, right? Not just the industry, but the actual people that we're engaging with, is one of the most exciting things about this model. So I just wanted to lift that up. Also, wanted to open up any space for any of our partners who are in the room to share about what they're excited about, or why you've been investing in Vivid Life, or excited to invest in Vivid Life. But Aki, I see that you came off mute.
Oh, it's okay. I can open it up first for you. I don't know if anyone wants to share.
I'd be happy to share if that's okay.
Oh, it's great.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Brown. I'm a senior program officer at the James Irvine Foundation. I'm based here in Los Angeles. And just first, thank you so much for inviting me to the briefing today and sharing kind of the impact of Vivid Life to date. It's just great to see. Irvine has funded the cooperative development through the Filipino Worker Center and Aki's leadership since 2022. And it's just been great to see how like iterative and adaptive the model has been to the needs of workers. And, we have seen an increasing interest in co-op development within our partners as an opportunity, as you said, Shanice, to kind of offer jobs that offer economic stability and mobility and collective power and voice. And, just the opportunity to learn alongside PwC and Vivid Life's impact, I think, has just been tremendous for our understanding of the depth of opportunity and impact, and just this team's, the dream team, as Rachel's put it, ability to really just come together on governance and scale and profitability. It's just been incredible. So I'm thrilled to kind of just like be in a position to support this great work, and to learn alongside you all.
Yeah, and it's also like with the support that we're documenting as well, like what the journey has been and what it's taken, what investments needed, as well as what our lessons have been so that we can really share with the field. Because this is a model that is new in many ways in terms of being able to scale this specific type of cooperative that is inclusive of the whole workforce, but also you know, and home care cooperatives is a growing field across the nation, and so how we can also help think about the scaling of good jobs that co-ops provide, and what infrastructure is needed is also really important, as well as we're a part of the California Workforce Ownership Collective that's led by Dowie, but is like also sharing these learnings across different industries about how we can scale good jobs. And the Workforce Development Program is funded under the HRTP High Road Training Partnership program at the county level right now. And we're the top performing, we're one of the top two performing programs. And the first one is hospitality program because of the partnership with the unions, right? That really like there's training that then brings them into good union jobs. And so in an industry like that's like home care, the private market, then this is similar in terms of like really being connected to an organized way to build out the good jobs in the industry. So yeah, so we've had amazing think out of 275 people, maybe 2 people didn't graduate. We graduated almost everyone. Also building out that collective and cooperative values with cohorts and, and building a really supportive environment connected to organizations and, all of the work that we do, and then to the cooperatives, supporting worker rights, building out good jobs. So we've been seeing the results of that. Vanessa.
Yeah, I was just reflecting on sort of what folks are sharing and thinking about the field as a whole of that's growing around cooperative development. I think one thing that stands out about Vivid Life that people always tell me when I bring it up and they ask about it is how it's a really leveraged all of the lessons that the people in the team have learned. And so it sits on a lot of experience for multiple decades, actually, of experimenting around cooperative development, in particular, organizing immigrant workers into worker co-ops using the LLC form. A lot of what ICA Group has done, in terms of their tools and sort of working with groups and others, and also obviously, in the domestic worker field, sort of bringing together workers' rights and cooperative development is something that is not actually super new. But in terms of how to structure the model and all the different elements that you're seeing are very thoughtful and intentional, are because of those experiences that it's been built on. So I just feel really proud of that it's not something, it doesn't come out of nowhere, right? It comes from a lot of thinking and reflection. So that's really wonderful, yeah, to be a part of.
And if we're continuing, if other one thing that we are is like a gap that we're looking for resources for is around workforce development training for the Bay Area. And as we expand other places, we are trying to break through at the state level for the HRTP programs, and we're working on that. But we do know that like the workforce training is really it's such a good way to bring workers together, bring in new workers, and creates a really good foundation for the co-op launches. So, although we don't have the same level of resources like in the Bay Area, we're creating then the Vivid Life workforce development trainings, which is like there's the academy, which is more about the launching, and then the workforce development is more about like the uh, like really more caregiving skills and uh, training, hands-on training as well. So that's something that we're really building out in the Bay Area to be able to launch as well. Yeah, are there any other questions that folks have or anything else?
I don't want to go off the call without celebrating all the progress that you all have made. And just listening to Blanca, just like, the stories of the workers and their experiences is really the heart the heart work. There's a lot of head work going on, but the heart work is to hear the way that Blanca is experiencing her work life, her home life, her agent, your agency, Blanca, as a caregiver. So I just thank you so much for always centering workers as in their full selves. And I love this next iteration of, how do you really do that match between what a worker needs in their life and the kind of work and caregiving experience you can provide. So I love that that's a next part of the journey. And Aki, in terms of the workforce development piece, you could be looking at any 3 Bay Area counties for those resources, right? Because you have Alameda, SF, and Santa Clara would be
Correct. Yes.
the last
Correct.
one. Okay, I just wanted to check on that.
Yeah. But we're really excited for the launch up in the Bay Area too. So, our partners up there of Mission Action, which is, they have HSC, Home Services Companions, that's going to be shifting to Vivid Life, as well as Mujeres Unidas y Activas, and the new DOOR, Domestic Workers Organizing for Respect in San Jose, which was formerly the NDWA chapter, right? Is really exciting. They have a mixture of both like Spanish speaking workers, but also Nepali. So that will be another, we're adding in, getting more and more diverse as we go. And thank you, Alicia, for coming. Um, yeah, so we're very excited. We um, are going to be doing the academy. It was going to be in June, but because we saw that we needed to make some significant shifts and really want to learn from like last year's academy and be able to use all of the evaluation and feedback that we've gotten now from the focus groups, we're actually like moving it back to September so that it gives
Okay.
sufficient time, yeah, to be able to like get everything in place for a smooth launch. And we're going to be doing some trainings and workforce development with workers who are interested, kind of leading up to the
Got it.
launching as well.
Got it. Well, I know it's May and I know you've pushed to fall, but I would still love to host, like if there's an in-person thing, and I don't know what the right timing is up here for that, but I'll talk to Catherine from Meta too. So let me
Yeah,
know when, like, is it July, August? Is there some
good timing. Yeah.
good timing and what you'd love? I mean, being in person in June was just so wonderful. And so I'd love to replicate that vibe here if we can.
Yeah, because maybe we could do it as like a in-person training that we're doing. Like we could pair it with
That's
something.
what yeah. And then something celebratory. I don't know if yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like builds
Wonderful.
excitement and yeah,
Yeah.
celebrates. Yeah. Wonderful. Well, oh, it's 11:02. So, thanks for staying on. So great to see you, Rachel. Thank you
You
so much, Blanca. Thank you,
too.
Chrissy.
Great to
Thank
see you,
you.
Blanca.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for sharing
Thank
your
you so
story,
much for
Blanca.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Have a great day, guys, and a blessed day. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, Patty. Gracias, Patty.
Thank you, Patty.